And I'm glad that you have recognized that the women in this narrative are just that. They are women of substance. And firstly, full power to Kalki sir to have written this at the time that he did. Considering he was delving into a slice of a very, very impactful slice of history, and making the narrative into, like I said earlier, an engaging and an enticing fictionalized piece. Then to write in characters and women to, excuse me, sir, you're in her way. Thank you. Right. And to write characters, the women, in the way that he has, with who, like the ladies here will have already said and will agree with me, that they are contemporary, they're eternal. The women who will be relatable at any point in time, because women have always been strong. Women have just been given opportunity differently at different times down the ages. So what we women know is we have always had the intelligence. We have always looked for the opportunity to have contributed directly, or we definitely have indirectly, forever. And, charted the course of events, of life itself, of contributing to the thinking power of our opposite gender in all the interactions, because frankly we're all human beings. I don't want to get into an entire narrative about now gender equality, but that the fact is that as people, we have always pretty much experienced just being human beings, and we all have thinking power, we all have experiences, and we all pretty much react. We are human beings capable of reaction, of contribution, of having an opinion. And it's wonderful in this narrative how the women too have it or find a way of expressing it. And very honestly, who better than Mani Ratnam as a maker to have brought the characters, the leading ladies in the narrative to life on celluloid, because that's something I can say from experience. In every movie I've worked with him, I've had the opportunity to be that lady or the female character in his narrative. It's amazing. That's something he always also refers to. He's like, what are you thinking? As an actor, he wants the actor to bring to life the thought behind. It's not just the dialogue that is being said or a scene. He likes us to bring what's within to fore. And it's always been about the mind. It's always been about intelligence is not defined in the conventional way, but intelligence has always been attributed to the ladies. I have had to essay with her, whether it was Pushpa, whether it was Kalpana, whether it was Sujata, whether it was Ragini, and today Nandini. So I'm very, very grateful that at every point in time, the women in his narrative are always strong, and they always bring substance to the narrative. So it's just very, very engaging and exciting for us.
You know, what you said was something we kind of worked on even in the film, because besides looking physically different, of course, because we had to belong to that era, I felt like when I was playing Kundavai, it was actually a woman of today, very strong, very empowered, something that I could totally relate to. So that part of Kundavai was something I feel like I took from today, but I just put it in her. But of course, she looked different. She looked like a girl who belonged to that era. So that part of it was something that I think, I don't know how Kalki sir wrote it, because the women are so strong, sometimes even in some scenes, maybe slightly overpowering the men and having a stand. So that was really challenging. It's not like we're just standing there like princesses and queens. We're actually like over there with brain power and using our intelligence in the kingdom. And especially back in that era, it was kind of frowned upon, because there are dialogues even in the film saying, she's a woman, why is she walking into a courtroom where there are 20 men and saying these things? But that's the kind of strength the women had in Ponniyin Selvan. So yeah, that's why it was more challenging to play it.
My experience has been, I think, slightly off-center in the sense that I've largely played parts that were slightly more steeped in the kind of stories they belonged in. They were slightly more intense, and this was an opportunity for me to play somebody who was nimble-footed, someone who was light-hearted, someone who was happy and uncorrupted by human politics. But what was interesting to me was that with Manisa, I discovered that innocence, something that my character Vanati embodies, it doesn't necessarily have to be coy or my Sharmila. It doesn't necessarily have to be just that. Absolute truthfulness. There is also sort of innocence in that, in just speaking your mind and having, thinking aloud. There's a certain innocence and naivety in that, and that is the version of innocence that he was excited to represent. So that really excited me, and I think I discovered joy for myself through the character as well, so that was special.
Beginning with our Guru, Manisa, and when you just asked him that, and I was listening to him, and I've heard him say it so often, and he always says, I'm glad, he made it now. He doesn't know how glad we all are that he made it now. Talk about, he can say it is the right time, but for each one of us here sitting in front of you and everybody involved in the making of Ponniyin Selvan, we are very, very grateful that this is the right time. We surely have been in the right place, and with complete gratitude to you, sir, that we are part of your dream project, that we got to be part of this narrative on celluloid. It is Kalki sir's classic. And everybody in the South is very, very familiar with the books, and it's very close to everybody's heart who has read the book, the series of books actually. But when you discover the story, and you must, and you will, through both these movies, you will know exactly why. It is such an exciting, enticing, interesting, riveting narrative. And yes, it gives you an insight into history, and yet it has the magic of how and where it's been fictionalized, and that is why one can see why a filmmaker like Manisa would want to bring this on celluloid as his dream project, and how fortunate we are that we got to be a part of his dream film.